Right. So you must have heard that. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
Right. And I've heard Muslims using this to Christians, saying this is the Prophet Muhammad in the Bible. Now, I've read that in context, and to me, it's not. To me, it's talking about something else. Because then it says the book is delivered to the one who is not unlettered, but is blindfolded or something. It's like, it gives you like different scenarios. Now, I used to use it, to be honest with you. I used to think, yeah, that sounds like it. When I learned that, I was like, you know what? I can't use that no more, man. It's just so disingenuous, because you might be able to fool a Christian who doesn't know, but a Christian that knows will say, wait a minute, but have you seen the context? Because if you read the verse after it and the verse before it, you'll realize that there's like talking about different people here. So I'm one of these people. If you can counter my argument, I will never use that argument again. You know, and any Christians watching, you know this, you know my weakness now. Just challenge anything I've said. So, and you know, the reality is this: for a year and a half, we've been calling Christians out. Come to the channel. Come and debate us. Come and show us where we're wrong here. And we don't even just do that. We'll do the, like, for example, the Gospel of Mark, and then we'll say, well, look, here's something that you need to come and refute. If you can challenge this, if you can challenge this, if you can challenge this, we're telling you how you can refute it. We're giving you your falsification to falsify what we're saying. We're telling you how you can do it. You can't do it. So the idea, I mean, you can look all over the Old Testament for forgiveness of sin through blood sacrifice. You just don't find it. And you do find repentance for intentional sin, which we have no problem with. You will find Paul, contrary to the disciples, can't argue against it. You know what? I'm going to read what Thomas Aquinas maybe said about this. And but the problem is that it goes back to my same point. Source material. It's like trying to imagine trying to explain a fabricated hadith to somebody. What's the point?
You can learn something from. I would say, you know what? I have learned quite a lot from Aquinas.
No. And but what I'm saying to you,
heavily respected through by millions of people.
I'm going to respect.
I spent money to buy his volumes, and I dedicate time to him on my channel, and I think he's one of the most brilliant minds that's ever existed on the planet. He's a very smart man, and I don't believe in backbiting and shaming scholars. The work he did to try to combat philosophers who were very secularist was intense.
Was he a Christian?
He was a Catholic.
Oh, then his mind's in a box.
How dare you talk about somebody you never read?
No, if he's
you have to show humbleness. You have to be careful.
Why?
Oh, astaghfirullah. I mean, you can never talk bad about somebody you haven't read their works. No academic should ever do that.
Did he believe Christianity was true? Did he believe Christianity was true?
Character. I never.
Did he believe Christianity was true?
You must really reflect. You cannot do that. That's bad to teach your students to slander something they have not read. You have not spent the money. You have not dedicated the time. You have not learned. You're dismissing a man who has written some of the most valuable works that are studied in universities all across the world.
Whatever he's written.
Across the world. Harvard, Yale, great schools study this man. And
whatever he's written.
You think that it's good to tell students of knowledge to never approach it. He has nothing to offer. You just think that you're better than him. This is a very bad attitude. This is not good. This is not good.
Did I say that? I said to you.
What you're saying. This is exactly how you're acting. You should not do that.
What?
You should not do that. You should say, "Oh, because I debunked the Bible, therefore I have nothing to learn from Aquinas. I should never do it." No, this is not good.
No. What I'm saying is this.
I read Shia books, I read Sufi books, I read occult books, I read all kinds of stuff to learn.
Yeah.
How can you ever slander somebody you didn't take the time to read their stuff?
I'll say it again to you. If he believed Christianity was true, then he never really questioned Christianity. He never really questioned Paul.
You cannot say what he thought when you did not read his books.
Well, if he's remained a Christian,
you cannot speak about something you did not read. I don't know why you won't get that.
Because if he's remained a Christian, then he can't have thought about it. He's just accepted it.
You cannot worship your own mind like that.
It's not worshiping the mind.
You cannot you're saying he's the one in the box, but you won't even take the time to read his respectable work.
His mind is in a box when it comes to Christianity, yes.
And yours is with Islam. So learn from him too.
Why is it in a box?
Because you're dismissing someone like that.
No, I'm dismissing somebody. I'm dismissing the idea of Christianity being true. Yeah. And if he believed Christianity was true, then he truly hasn't questioned the Christianity he believed was true. When did he exist?
How dare you say he has not questioned when you have not read it?
Okay. When was his time?
Who has read it?
When was he born, or what was his era?
Literally ripping their hair out right now.
What was his era?
Deep slander.
What was his era?
Deep slander. He didn't have TikTok and things to distract him. He dedicated his entire hours.
What was his era? Yeah, but if he's died a Christian, then he's died of an unbeliever, isn't he? So he hasn't thought about what Christianity is, has he?
And you don't know where you'll end up either.
No, but he's died. I haven't died yet.
He's dead.
No, but I haven't died.
His life.
He died a Christian.
What does that have to do with his mind?
Well, what it does have to do with it, his knowledge. His knowledge is something else. But Christianity is something else again. Christianity is his belief. Yeah. And if he's such a brilliant man, did he ever question Christianity? Because if he did, he would not have died a Christian. Unless
once you open that first volume, I think you will cut out your own tongue.
Unless
I think you'll cut out your own tongue, because what you're saying right now proves that you're going to be embarrassed when you read it. You're going to be embarrassed.
Absolutely not.
You will. Because you're going to say he didn't question when all he did in his books was refute.
Okay, where did he refute Paul?
This is what you need to do.
No, when did he refute Paul?
Before you talk about you.
Well, you've read it.
You never read it.
You've got volumes.
I'm not going to go into the Paul thing here.
No, but you've got volumes.
I'm telling you.
You've got volumes.
You are slandering a man who's more smarter than you.
Not slandering.
Who's done more work than you. You're dismissing it, and you're telling other theology students the way you're acting, dismissing him. This is not a way an intellectual act.
I'm not dismissing his volumes of work.
This is not a way an intelligent, wise person acts.
What I'm dismissing is
this is why there's so much disrespect for Muslim scholars as well.
I'm dismissing.
I try to create a bridge of knowledge.
I'm dismissing his religion as false, unequivocally. And if he was so intelligent, unless he lived at a time...
I'm a perfect Muslim. I don't got to read anything.
Who claimed perfection? Who claimed perfection?
I just got to declare things as unlawful. And, I don't got to do the work.
Listen, Milahan, agree with me or don't agree with me, it doesn't really matter.
It does matter.
Your agreement to me, whether what I'm saying is true or not, it's very, very simple. If he died a Christian, unless he lived in a time when you had to be a Christian and you'd be burned at the stake if you wasn't, which is another story. But if you're saying he was a Christian and he questioned the doctrine of atonement, and I mean,
so because he didn't question the way you wanted, therefore he's not worth reading.
For example, when did he die?
I'm sorry, I don't know his birthday. He was a medieval philosopher, theologian.
No,
he was a medieval philosopher, theologian.
What century was he?
I believe that's in the 14th and 15th, I think. Right.
So in the 14th and 15th century, he wouldn't be aware of the previous manuscripts that exposed later manuscripts. He wouldn't be aware of that because they weren't discovered till the 19th century. So that's the first thing. So maybe he'd have had if he'd have seen.
You should not stop doing that.
What?
Stop saying what he knows and what he doesn't know. You've never even read the man.
Well, he didn't know.
How do you know?
Because the manuscripts weren't available.
This is a bad precedent to set. Stuff for law. People get mad at me for reading a bunch of different. This is very bad.
I'm stating facts here. The Codex Sinaiticus was not discovered until the end of the 19th century, and by that time,
you need to think about how you tell people to go about knowledge.
What?
You cannot dismiss someone like Aquinas and be considered an intellectual.
I can say he did not know the Bible had been corrupted. I can say that for a fact. You've
probably really debated a lot of weak-minded people.
No.
And a lot of strong-minded people, but your ego and your disrespect for such a powerful man.
I think you don't listen to what's being said.
I've never heard something like this before, not even from an atheist.
Well, unfortunately, it's true. And whether you like to hear it, it's true. Because
you're just declaring your own things true, just to slander someone you don't even know.
Milahan,
you never read his work, but you think you get to say all these things.
No, I'm declaring facts. Thomas Aquinas never read. Thomas Aquinas was not aware of Codex Sinaiticus because it wasn't discovered until after he died. Which part of that don't you get?
What does that have to do with his arguments?
Okay, so no, that's not what I said. I said to you, if Thomas Aquinas would have seen Codex Sinaiticus and seen that what do you mean you're shaking your head for? Why are you shaking your head?
Because he didn't know this one thing.
No, it's not just
you
one
get to
thing.
dismiss him as nobody. He's not worth reading, and you get to put him on a lower pedestal than you.
I didn't say that, did I?
You can see you.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I said was,
this is what the implications are of your behavior and your demeanor towards a great man.
No, not at all. I can see how much you look up to him.
I don't need to read him because the source material. That's basically what you said.
What did I say? What did I say? Tell me what I said that you're so upset about.
Because the Christianity is false, therefore I don't need to read somebody who died thinking Christianity was true.
What did I say about Thomas Aquinas? That you got
everything that you have said is accumulating in this extreme bias.
No, it's very, very simple.
Test your mind and read this great man.
I said this very, very simply. If Thomas Aquinas was such the brilliant man as that you said he is, then maybe if he was still alive when the Codex Sinaiticus was discovered and the Bible was exposed as containing forgery, he may not have died a Christian. He may have questioned that. He may have said, wait a minute, how can we then hold on to this as the word of God when we can clearly see man has corrupted it? Maybe that would have changed his position. So the point, what I'm saying is, you can bring
but you still need to read him.
Thomas Aquinas.
You still need to read him.
Thomas Aquinas did not have all the facts to judge Christianity that we do today. Yeah, the expose of the Bible wasn't available in his time, and I'm pretty sure in the 14th and 15th century. I'm pretty sure in the 14th and 15th century, it was burn them at the stake if you didn't believe what the people believe. So, this isn't, I'm not saying about, me personally, if I think your religion is forced upon you, I don't believe you're going to be held accountable because you never embraced Islam. If you're in an environment, I don't know his environment. I'm going to check it out now. I'm going to check out this idea of this brilliant man, of how brilliant he really was. And in what field was he brilliant? Because you can be brilliant in one thing, but you can be ignorant in another. So I don't know whether or not he was ignorant in high-end textual criticism. Certainly ignorant in textual criticism because he didn't have the tools available to do it. Now, did he question the validity of the authorship of the New Testament, the Gospels? I don't know. I'd love to see what he says with regards to the authorship of the Gospels. I don't know. I'd love to see what he says about the incarnation of Jesus. Was he fully man, fully God? And why does he believe that? Now, if he just believes it because Paul said it, then I'm going to question why you believe in what Paul says. Same as I would do anyone. And it's the same process. I'd ask the Pope the same question today. If I had the Pope in front of me, I'd ask him the same questions. Why do you believe this? Because Thomas Aquinas has the excuse of not having the information to hand that we have today. Today is a different story. Today we've got everything. We've got the technology. We can see it side by side. We can see everything. It's a different world.
It may be a different world, but you should not create the habit of dismissing scholars so willy-nilly based on the things you like to study. You should remember that.
What?
That is what people are going to get from what you're doing, because that is what I'm getting from you. That is the feeling that I'm getting from you. That's the energy I'm getting from you. That's what I'm seeing. Is that it's like a pattern. Like you just, this is something that I've learned definitely from this. I've become more humble from this. I read a lot of people whom I disagree with scholars, and you have shown me how I need to educate more people to read people regardless and have more respect for scholars.
I'm pretty sure people watching this will say, Milahan, what are you doing? Why are you defending a position that's undefendable? Why are you trying to defend the atonement where the Bible doesn't support it? Why are you trying to defend it? It doesn't say it.
I'm testing to see what you're
scrabbled in Deuteronomy. You scrabbled in Deuteronomy.
Fishing out information from you is not exactly defending.
Then you went to Leviticus.
Agree with everything
here's the thing, Milahan. You went to Deuteronomy. You went to Leviticus. You went to Joshua. Right? Not once did you say, you know what, Hamza? Do you know what, Hamza? I think you're right. I agree with you.
I don't think you're right. I think there's answers.
I know you don't. I know you don't, because you're too arrogant to accept it.
You won't ask scholars. Right. You won't read Aquinas.
No.
You won't go to a cardinal. You won't go to people in Jehovah's Witness. You ask regular people, then say, I'm the arrogant one. When I say I read everything.
You haven't got the humility to say, you know what? I didn't know this, what you're telling me today.
Don't stop learning till you're dead. You say, why? I don't know. Source material.
Listen, you just give me platitudes now, Milahan.
That's not platitudes.
You don't practice what you preach.
It's not a platitude if I live by it. It's not a platitude if I live by it.
You do not practice what you preach. No, you don't.
I read it every day.
Right now, everyone will see your hypocrisy. Everyone will see your hypocrisy. I'll tell you why.
Well, you're saying I don't need to.
Atonement? Did you know about the atonement's only for unintentional sin? Did you know that?
I'm going to fact check it, and I'm going to ask somebody, but it's not my mission. That is something you're interested in.
Well, you challenged me on it.
I'm testing your mind. I don't just have to accept everything you say without pushing back.
You tested my mind.
I don't just have to trust what you say. I can ask questions and test your mind.
I'm telling you to read what I'm saying, and you did. And you scrabbled all over the Bible.
Tiny piece, but I need to go through more, obviously. I'm not finished all the way with the Bible.
And you can search until the cows come home, and then you'll come back and say, Hamza, you were right. I need to learn humility when there's something I don't know about. I need to take a step.
You said I need to learn humility, but you just had a whole spiel where I had to try to push you to even consider reading Aquinas.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Wow.
I asked you. I think
you spent a lot of time in Speaker's Corner instead of other places.
What does Thomas Aquinas write about?
Oh, ya Allah. You know what? I've defended Aquinas quite extensively.
Okay,
he's a man
what's his
who does not need an introduction. He does not need me to defend him. Okay, I have read it myself. If you want to not read it, go ahead. I'll go ahead and read it.
What's his flex?
He has 7 volumes. That's like asking, what did Bukhari talk about?
What's his thing?
I want you to go up and read it. I've pushed him enough. I've pushed him enough.
Thomas Aquinas was an Italian Dominican friar, philosopher, Catholic priest, and doctor
look on Google, and then that'll tell you all you need to know. Yeah, that's what a scholar does. It just types on the Google search bar instead of reading the books themselves.
And jurist in the tradition of scholarship.
Yeah, you'll know everything you need to know about Islam if you just type it in on Google, right? That's how you learn about your religion. You just type it in on Google.
Dr. Communis and the Dr. Univalis. So what is the gist of his teaching? Is he like the Christian Ghazali?
You know, you're saying I need to be humble.
Yes.
University students in community college learned about this guy's name. Okay?
So, I left school at 15. I ain't got a clue. I'm asking you.
Just go and read his volumes. They're on Amazon.
I'm not going to go read his volumes unless what's it about. It's not huffing and puffing. What's it about?
Deep. That's like saying, what is Bukhari about?
Bukhari is about a collection of the narrations and actions and speech of the Prophet ﷺ as recorded by his companions. What?
Now get into the nitty-gritty details. Tell me every single thing included.
Oh, okay, so Bukhari went round and he didn't...
No, I'm not asking about biography. What's inside the books?
Oh, okay.
Tell me every single hadith, every freaking chapter.
Oh, okay. So basically the gist of it, which is I asked you for the gist. So the gist is this. So in Islam, we have a multitude of things. So we have things like marriage, social conditions, using the toilet, eating food, and whatever it may be. So Bukhari's book is divided into these kind of sections. So for example, if you want to know about marriage...
He was a theologian and philosopher. So what do you think his books were about?
I don't know. Tell me.
Theology and philosophy.
Okay. So theology, Christian theology.
Obviously.
Right. So you're so fantastically proud of this man who was a genius in Christian theology, where Christian theology makes no sense.
Dear God.
And like I said to you, going back, my excuse for Thomas Aquinas is he didn't realize the corruption of the text into the extent that it had become.
I wouldn't even see, like, even Richard Dawkins, like, would have more respect.
Richard Dawkins is a fruitcake. Why bringing him as if
he would have like more respect than what you're showing now? Now I understand where these young Muslim men and women are getting the arrogance of like slandering Islamic scholars, slandering scholars,
slandering Islamic scholars.
Just I don't have to read it. I know everything off of Google. This is where it's coming from. This is where it's coming from. It's coming from people who are thinking they don't have to do the work themselves. They get to just talk and then read.
No, it's very simple.
Makes a lot of sense now. Now I see where it's coming from.
What can I learn from Thomas Aquinas that I need as a Muslim?
Oh, dear God. Oh, my God. I can't even believe you're asking that. Like, this is
so dramatic.
This is not dramatic. I'm like shocked.
Why?
Like, I can't believe this.
Why? Why are you so shocked?
Dear God. We have so much work to do. Oh my God. May I be a different teacher? Please, Allah, help me. This is not good behavior. This is not what a wisdom. This is not it.
Why are you so shocked?
This is.
No, I want to know why you're so shocked. What's this mock outrage?
Wow.
I don't get what it's all about. Educate me, school me.
If you don't get it, then there's nothing I can. At this point,
I don't.
If I haven't made it clear, if you. Wow, you know, it's very.
Well, I'm shocked now you said he was a theologian. Because if he's a theologian, he's only going to be using the source materials. He's only going to be going to the church father citations. He's only going to be going to the New Testament, which isn't reliable. So I'm kind of confused.
Wow. I guess it's just, wow. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know. I do know, but it's just not the way you go about your acquisition of knowledge. Much different than me.
Well, no, I take knowledge
what you like, and we are very different people.
No, definitely so.
Very different approaches. Very
look, how long have you been a Muslim?
Different attitudes towards knowledge. Just very different.
I'm pretty sure your attachment to Thomas Aquinas. Did your attachment to Thomas Aquinas come before or after Islam?
It has never stopped.
No, when did it start? Before or after Islam?
I'm not going to be interrogated when the man can stand on his work on his own. No, I have respect.
No, when you started this journey into Thomas Aquinas and reading and getting this respect, was it before or after? Before your Shahada or after your Shahada?
I have noticed. I'm not going to answer that because I noticed this.
I know the answer. You know, I know the answer.
A lot of Muslims and Christians, you guys are doing this to each other online.
Stop doing that. I'm not interested in a lot of Muslims online.
It's too much attacking. It's like
Milahan,
it's just not healthy. It's not healthy what's going on.
No one's attacking you.
You're going to say something like shaitan. You're going to say something like a jinn. You're going to say misguidance. You're going to do something like that.
Milahan, you don't know me. I don't speak that way. Yeah, first thing. Second thing.
So that's about how you speak. It's about how others are going to watch it and come across it.
Others are going to come across it and ask the same questions.
You know. Yeah, every student of knowledge has to be super careful about like what circles they sit in and to constantly test their mind. This is I'd rather cut out my tongue than ever slander someone I'd never read their works.
Who have I slandered?
Everything that you have done about Aquinas is a slander. It's a slander to students of knowledge.
Why is it a slander? I justified it.
People who study philosophy, people who study theology, people who are respectable people. He may have been a Christian, but he was a respectable man.
Who said he wasn't respectable?
The way you're treating him, the way you're behaving, the way you're acting is not a way a wise person acts. You are very smart, and I did not expect that.
No, I'm asking a very simple question.
It's such a horrible thing. I mean,
no. Look, you could defend him all you like. If he died as a Christian, I give him.
You think you know everything in the world? You have nothing to learn from anyone else.
I never made that claim.
You want to accuse other people of being in a box?
No. I said
I am not. I live by my creed. I study and I learn from everyone.
Every Christian, their mind has to be in a box. Has to be.
Do you not see people can say the same thing about any other group?
No, they can't. No, they can't.
This is the arrogance I'm talking about.
No, this is the reality.
You're teaching Muslims to just be like, I'm better than you. I can never have this. I can never have that.
I'm teaching Muslims. I'll tell you what I'm teaching Muslims, Milahan. I'm teaching Muslims. Islam is the... I'll tell you what I'm teaching Muslims. All right. I'm teaching Muslims. Islam is the truth. In this world, there can only be one absolute truth.
I know this feels good to say it to Muslims a lot. This is the problem with the dawah saying.
No, like, I'm saying.
And I know it. It's like
Do you not believe
I don't have Patreon subscribers. I'm not monetized. I'm a free human. I don't bow to my audience. I don't tell them what they want to hear.
Milahan, I don't tell people what they want to hear. I don't tell people what they want to hear. The fact is this: do you believe in the concept of one truth?
What you're trying to say is if you need one truth, you don't have to study anything else because you already have the truth, so I don't need to go any further. And that's not how a wise person does
What I'm saying is, no. I didn't say that. God, you got this habit of thinking I'm going to say stuff that I'm not going to say. All right. So
I'm predicting where you're going to try to pin me into a point.
Well, we haven't got a clue. We haven't got a clue.
No, I do have a clue. I know how these conversations go. Everyone tries to pin each other into a corner.
No, but what you just said, I'm not going to say. So you don't have a clue if you think I'm going to say that.
I'm answering it so that you can't go to it.
Okay. I'll tell you what I'm going to say.
Cutting off that door.
Oh, where am I going to go to? Say it again.
The door. When I say something like that, is I'm cutting you off from ever try. It's like a jab, right? It's like boxing, basically. There are no martial arts.
Say what I'm going to say, rather than you attempting to poorly 8-mile me. So, if there's only one absolute truth, and Islam is that truth, then everything else is false by default. Everything. Because nothing is reconcilable with Islam. What saves you in Christianity condemns you in Islam. What condemns you in Islam saves you in Christianity. So we know nothing is reconcilable. Not one religion is reconcilable. So they're all false. Everything other than Islam. All we can do is study why that is. Where is the presupposition? Where is the false assumption? And then we can speak to people of those faiths and show them, well, look, you're believing this is true, but the problem you've got is it's based upon this, which isn't true. So I have no issues with, if you're going to debate Christians, understand their scripture, understand their doctrines, which is what I do. Yeah. And by doing that, we took many Christians back to agnosticism from Christianity, who used to think the Bible is a reliable source of information, when the reality is it isn't. Yeah. Standard. Now, if you're a Christian, where say you have to put your mind in a box, because it means you can't think too hard of what you're supposed to believe as a Christian. Because once you start scrutinizing it, it crumbles. So you just have to put it in a box.
People literally say the same thing about Muslims.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
I never say, like, I don't know what's true until I die. I believe what I believe. I have faith in Allah.
Say the same
and when
thing
I
about
die,
Muslims.
I will see what's true.
Okay.
We will see.
I'll tell you why you can't say the same thing about Muslims. Yeah? So with Muslims, you take Islam out the box, and you scrutinize Islam, and you can answer everything. There's no crazy doctrines that we have to adhere to. There's no corrupted scriptures. There's nothing. The problems that Christianity has, we don't have. The preservation we have.
Why is there so much Muslim infighting then?
That's another story. That's man. That's another story.
So can't they say that's man as well, who interfered in their text?
Nope, because that's supposed to be God.
So there are people who feel you don't need hadiths and you just need the Quran, because they say that the hadiths are conflicting. They are,
Did you ask me the streams we did?
And stuff like that. They say they were gathered 200 years after the Prophet died. They have all this stuff they could say too. So
Milahan, if you go to my channel, we've got 2 streams answering hadith rejectors, answering the Quranists, I think it's called. And we basically did exactly the same thing. We invited hadith rejectors and Quranists to come on, and we just rinsed them. That's it. So people can make claims of all sorts of things, but it doesn't stand. So a Quranist has to put his mind in a box also. Yeah, he can't think too much about it because he's got to answer certain questions. He can't. Why does a Quranist believe the Quran is true and reject hadith? Now, the Quranist has 2 problems.
But the Sharia is a box. You cannot exit the Quran and Sunnah. That is a box. That is a square. That's your frame of work.
You're missing the point when I say in a box. When I say in a box is you can't think about it too much. Sharia is not in a box that you can't think about it. You apply the Sharia, isn't it? But the point I'm saying is, in Christianity, you can't question the doctrine because it collapses. As soon as you question the authors of the Gospels being disciples of Jesus, it collapses. So you just got to leave it in that box and have faith that that's the way it was, and that's it.
Do you know that people do the same with Allah's names and attributes?
Yeah.
They say you cannot question Allah's names and attributes, and that's where a lot of the problems come in with Sufis and Shias.
Okay. Me personally,
so that's a box. They say don't question those attributes and names.
Oh, okay. Me personally, I don't put anything in a box. Yeah, I get upset. People get upset with me when I was questioning when Jesus apparently was he substituted or was it swoon theory? And oh, brother, you can't say that. It's got to be this. And then why does it have to be that? Well, I can't think for myself. I can't. How did the tafsir know what happened? The Prophet ﷺ didn't say what happened. It's all come from Israeli Jewish Christian tradition. So I've got no issue with questioning things. And I heard what you said the other day about you know, Muslims should be able to debate stuff. Why should everything be locked up? I have no issue with that. The problem is it is locked up in a certain case. But me personally, why is it I got people, you know, the age of Aisha anha. You know, I'm kind of like, I don't believe she was 6 and 9. I believe she was like 13, 14. Now, apparently, I'm not allowed to have that opinion. But that is my opinion, based upon what I've seen and studied with regards to it. And that's the position I hold. Whether she was 6 or 9 doesn't make, it's not, I don't feel uneasy. It doesn't make me think, oh, how could you marry a 6-year-old? That's not a problem. I can defend that. It's not a problem. The point is, I don't think it leads there. I think there's enough peripheral evidence to maybe suggest she's older than 6 and 9. And just one.
I don't think it's very good. You should be very, very careful with that topic. You know, like you would defend. I was molested as a child. You know, you have to be very careful with the way you talk about that. You know, like you would defend. You have to be very. People can. It's very harsh area. It's not an easy area for many people. It is very uncomfortable.
If you lived in London, you could marry a 6-year-old in the 12th century in the UK. Legally,
I know, but it's still like, you know, I feel like you have more grace. Just have some just discrepancy and grace, and it's a sensitive area for many people, good or bad. You know, like it's just an area where you're like, Allah knows best. I think the best answer.
What I'm saying is, I don't lean towards an older age because I'm uncomfortable if she was younger. That's not a problem for me, because that's standard. That's what happened in history. That's what happened in history. If that was the going rate, that was the going rate. You know, we know Aisha anha was engaged already prior to her marriage to the Prophet ﷺ. So we know this is a tradition that's gone on. And like I said, in England in the 12th century, you could marry a 6-year-old and consummate that marriage when she was 9, legally, by law. So if she was that age, that's not the reason I'm saying, oh, she must be older because he would never marry that young. It's the fact that, well, actually, I don't know. There's enough other evidences that I'd have to put my mind in a box and not think about. That's the reality. And I can't ignore that stuff. Do you get me? So that's how I am. Now, some other brothers say to me, Astaghfirullah, brother, you can't say that. But I'm like, well, that's my position. And, you know, Sheikh Uthman from San Diego, he's in the same boat with me on this. But again, it's not because we're shy of the age of 6 and 9. Because if that was the age, that was the age. But that's not the reason. So
but you have to, but the thing is, when you say it like that, we have to be responsible people and say that was then and this is now.
That's the point.
What?
That's the point I'm making.
I know, but sometimes just you have to say like you have to like
no.
How anthropologists and archaeologists, we have to be a little bit of a dry academic and be like, that was then. Allah knows best how they documented birthdays, even, you know, different calendar, how time was measured.
But what
this is the things that feel is like,
what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, I glossed over what you said about you being abused as a kid. Sorry to hear that. But what I was saying is, I could basically have the conversation with somebody justifying the age of 6 and 9. Then right at the end, I'll say, by the way, I don't believe that anyway. I believe she was 30. But the point is, going through what you're saying, the age of the time, this, that, the early death rates and things, it's not a problem for me. That's not the reason why I needed to be older. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
I know that part.
So for me, the evidence leads away. And if you want me to maintain this explicit, because it says an explicit hadith, the numbers 6 and 9, and ignore that, I just can't. Because that's not how my mind works. My mind, well, what about that? And how could that? And how could that have happened? And I thought Abu Bakr had all his kids before Islam. Then how? It doesn't make no sense. So I'd have to ignore that to accept that. And then I see, for example, one of the narrators is Hisham ibn Urwa from Iraq, and even like Imam Malik and Ibn Asqalani both say that, you know, he's reliable until he went to Iraq, and then he started losing his mind a bit, and then you can't take from him. And whether Imam Bukhari knew of that distinction between when he was in Makkah, when he was in Medina, and when he was in Iraq, I don't know. But the point is, there's a weakness in it. So there's reasons why it leads me away. So my mind is certainly not in a box. Yeah. And I upset brothers sometimes saying this stuff, you know, and especially the crucifixion, man. They did try to lynch me, man. They were saying, you can't say that. I said, what do you mean I can't say that? They're saying, you can't say that maybe he was on the cross but didn't die, but swooned instead and such. You know, like, you know, Ahmadiyya and Shabir Ali and such, they go along with that kind of line. And I'm like, yeah, but when I look at it, it kind of makes sense. You know, the idea that why are women going to his grave 3 days later with ointment to a dead body to do what with it? Do you get me? And there's so many things that it don't add up for me. And then when you tell me about this substitution theory that he was exchanged for another, and then you're giving me Tafsir Ibn Kathir with regards to it, and you're talking about how young Sahaba volunteered to be the substitute. But then Ibn Kathir said he got the information from Ibn Abbas, and then Ibn Abbas says it was a Roman centurion who was transformed into Jesus. I said, wait a minute. So he's saying that. He's saying he got it from that. He's saying something completely different to that. It's the devil's in the detail here. Do you get me? Yeah. And then what's the source of all this? Well, it's certainly not Prophet Muhammad, and it's certainly not Allah. So where's it coming from? It's coming from Israeliyat. It's coming from Christian Jewish traditions, or whatever hearsay, or whatever it is. And people were pinning me to it, saying, no, you have to believe in the substitution. Now, on reflection, I do lean towards substitution now more than Suan theory. But at the time, people were saying you can't do it. Now, I didn't change my mind because people were saying you can't do it. It was a case of, well, looking at the substitution, someone said to me, what's the problem? Why you've got an issue with the substitution? I'm thinking, well, I don't know. And then when you look at the idea that, Christians were reporting Jesus was crucified, and Flavius Josephus was saying Jesus was crucified, and Tacitus was saying Jesus was crucified, and history reporting Jesus was crucified. Well, Allah says in the Quran, they thought he was crucified. So the people thought he was crucified. They're going to be reporting he was crucified, and history will report he was crucified. So then it's like, yeah. And then you see things like Barabbas, who was the rebel leader. His name was Jesus. What? So the rebel leader's name's Jesus Barabbas, and Barabbas means son of the Father. And you're like, what? So you're telling me Pontius Pilate apparently says, who shall I release? Jesus, son of the Father, or Jesus of Nazareth? You're like, what? It's the same person. What's going on here? It's a madness. And then you look in history, and there's no evidence of Romans releasing anybody on the Passover. The idea, and Jesus Barabbas was the leader of the rebels. You're in a city that is on the verge of rebellion, and you're a representative of Caesar in Jerusalem, and you release the rebel leader? Come on, man. The Romans were not stupid. So just historically, it all collapses. Everything just collapses. And then you go to like, Flavius Josephus, the Jewish writer who wrote that it said Jesus was crucified. Then it says he was more than a man. He was the Christ. And then it says he was he resurrected after 3 days and saw his companions and all that. So the Christians say, yeah, look, Flavius Josephus, he said he was a Jewish writer, and he's saying Jesus was the Messiah, and he was died and resurrected. And that problem you've got is you've got Origen in the 2nd century saying, why isn't Flavius Josephus saying Jesus was the Messiah and he was crucified and was resurrected? You just froze.
I'm there.
Oh, you fell asleep. All right. So
no, I'm looking right at you. No, I guess I just held still for too long where you thought I froze.
so you got Origen, right? One of the church fathers saying he's kind of bemused. Why isn't this man, this Jewish historian who's writing at the time of Jesus, why isn't he talking about the resurrection? What? Say that again. So we have letters of Flavius Josephus, and he's talking about resurrection. Yet in the 2nd century, Origen is complaining why he's not talking about the resurrection. That means he wasn't reading a letter from Flavius Josephus that contained a resurrection. And it was only Eusebius in the 4th century that we find this resurrection appear in the letter. And so according to Christian scholarship, this was forged by Eusebius. The source of church histories, right, fabricated and interpolated into the letter of Flavius Josephus to make that Josephus was witnessing this resurrection and such. And it's just like, it just collapses everywhere. And like, the story of King Herod killing the babies.
Yes.
In the book of Matthew.
Yes.
Nowhere in history is this reported. Nowhere will you find documented anywhere that King Herod ordered the slaughter of babies in Bethlehem. nowhere, right? And you had Flavius Josephus, this Jewish historian they love to bring to the table, yeah, who wrote a book about the atrocities of King Herod. Never mentioned it either. Wait a minute. Got a Jewish guy writing in the time, a Jewish historian writing about King Herod and all his atrocities, doesn't mention it. No one else mentions it apart from the Gospel of Matthew. It's just so dodgy. It's just so dodgy.
Interesting.
So there's so many places it just collapses. You know, Gospel of Matthew talks about zombies at the crucifixion. You know, that all the saints came up. Well, so why are you buzzing about one guy rising from the grave when all the zombies have just come out of the graves? I don't get it. You know what I mean? If the whole town, if all these saints are coming and going into the houses and whatever, then why would you be, next day, would you be, oh, wow, this guy's rose as well? You'd be like, yeah, well, we just had like, I don't know, 50 of them do it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and nowhere in history is it reported. And the problem is, you see, Christians are believing these things as if they happened. And then once they believe these things happened, everything Jesus said, they think he said. And when he contradicts himself, in different, you know, like, for example, what does the sign say above Jesus's cross? It's 4 different versions in each event, in each gospel. It says 4 different things. Now, you can't invent history in that way. You froze again.
Oh, no, I'm still here.
You were like,
no.
I thought you fell asleep.
I'm listening. I just, when I'm following you, I just hold still because I'm listening.
Oh, no, you went like that.
Oh, I froze?
Yeah, you did. And then you went.
Really? But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of research. There's a lot of great things to nerd out on, and it's fun.
What I don't want to do again, because I don't want to get you all riled up again. right. But I do have to ask the question. Yes. I do have to ask this question. Please don't get upset when I say his name.
Oh no.
I'm only going to ask a question. I'm not going to infer anything. I'm just going to ask a question. Can I ask the question without you biting my head off?
It depends. What's the conditional? Should I show mercy or no?
I don't care. All right. So, did Thomas Aquinas ask these questions with regards, knowing about, for example, Eusebius and his forgeries, and Gospel of Matthew inventing history, not just inventing history, corrupting the Old Testament, taking prophecy and reversing them and butchering it to try to marry to a situation?
No matter what you say,
I'm
still going to tell you to read the great man. That's going to be my answer.
I understand, but you've read him, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm not going to overly reveal. I want you to go on your own journey. I want you to go on your own journey, and I want you to go to learn and to reflect. And to do, this is exactly this is what my professors would tell me. So I'm going to act the same way as they would tell me towards you. If you know, that's the behavior that they have told me how to be. And I want you to go on the exploration, because I am. Yeah,
see, the only way
my pausing is coming because I know what this man has done and how valuable he is. And every time you say anything I think that's negative towards him, it's like there's a shut off that happens.
I didn't say anything negative. I just asked, did he? That's all.
Please just read him. That's where we gotta leave it.
I can only read about that part if he referred to that part. So I don't want to read everything of Thomas Aquinas. All right.
Come on now. How are you gonna go after Christianity?
I'm reading this at the moment. Yeah, I'm reading this at the moment, right? And this is a heavy read for me.
There is no contemporary Christian who has done what he has done. Let me tell you that. Okay? He is the baddest of the baddest. The bada bing and the bada boom. Reading him is going to be more beneficial to you for your understanding of theology and Catholicism than anything else. So
to understand Catholicism.
Well, theology, philosophy, humanism, secularism, a lot of different things.
Okay. But he couldn't
Stop making excuses to not do the job.
He couldn't teach me what this guy's teaching me.
I'm going to take that book and I'm going to throw it out the window. Let me tell you something.
No, but he couldn't teach me what this guy's teaching me.
Okay, do both.
No, but this is very, very beneficial for me.
You can't read more than one book?
Honestly, you know what? I left school at 15. I'm not a book reader. I try. But I have to learn.
I mean, come on. I know I'm a bit biased because I read so much, but it's like, come on.
Oh, flipping at you, don't stop bloody reading.
I know, like, you got to do it. You just got to do it.
No, but I look.
You will benefit.
No, it's
Inshallah,
not.
you will benefit.
No. I know I'll benefit from what I read because I'll choose what I read very carefully. First thing. Second thing, I don't want us to go on a journey. I don't do journeys, right? I do destinations. So I'm one of these people, and I go on a journey somewhere, right? I don't care.
We're opposites, just like our Shahada was opposite.
I know.
Our seeking knowledge is opposite.
So me, I'm not worried about how beautiful that mountain is and that tree and look at that, it's lovely. I'm like, where are we going? What we're going to do when we get there, right? That's me. So I'm a destination kind of guy. You're a kind of.
I do that, but I look at the clouds for about 20 minutes.
I don't care about the clouds. I just want to get. If I could just get there, if I could just get there like that
for a long time.
No, because I'm thinking of where am I going and why. Yeah,
you can look at the clouds and think that at the same time.
Nah, I'm thinking about where I'm getting to and why. So, for example, why am I reading this book? Why am I reading this book? Do you know
why I'm reading just that book should be the answer.
Do you know why I'm reading? No. Why have I chosen this book to read? Why is this the book I picked up, and why am I reading this book?
Because it's something that ends to your path on your crusade.
So with this book, I'll demolish atheists. Yeah, who tried to hide behind multiverses and genetics and evolution and quantum mechanics and multiverses and all that kind of stuff. This book destroys all their little hiding places. Yeah, that's why I'm reading this. So once I read this, I'll demolish atheists and their little hidey holes. Standard, right? And that's what I do. So, for example, I enjoy reading Bart Ehrman. Yeah, I loved reading Misquoting Jesus. I need to get his book Forged because he basically highlights the false assumptions that Christians have to believe in. Yeah, and because this is what I do. Now, with Thomas Aquinas, maybe if I wanted to understand Catholicism and why Catholics today are so fervent believers in it and the Pope and all that business, maybe it's a route for me. I'll tell you who'll be able to expound on that for me is because I got my philosophy class on Friday with Yusuf Ponders. So I'm going to bring up Thomas Aquinas.
I don't think Yusuf has read all of Aquinas.
No, but he'll know the gist.
I don't think so.
Oh, what about Jake? Would Jake have?
No.
Or Mohammed Jab?
This is what I mean. Is like, this guy is a serious guy. Okay, this is something that's very serious. People study. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Mohammed Hijab.
I don't know what he has read.
What about Sabur?
I don't care what the other YouTubers have read, and I doubt that they've read all the volumes or could even summarize anything that he has written. From what I've seen of all their work. So stop making excuses. Who cares about if they do it? Don't ask them. They're not experts. They did not study it.
Okay.
I've studied it more than them, and I'm telling you, you should do it.
Yeah. See, what you're doing right now is telling me to go somewhere, but not why.
Book. Come on.
No,
go to the book itself. Forget about the YouTubers. Who cares? Go to the actual book.
Listen, I'm not just a YouTuber. Go to
the book itself.
No. I'm not just a YouTuber. All right.
No, I know that. But I'm saying don't ask this person, that person. Who cares? Read the actual book from somebody who's actually read it. I wrote a paper on it. I wrote essays on it. And I'm telling you that you should read it.
You wrote a paper on it?
Yes.
Can I read that?
No.
Why?
I'm not sharing. I don't share my academic work for plagiarism or anything like that online.
I'm going to copy nothing. I'm just going to read it.
No, I don't want you to read it.
I want to read it because I think then I'll get the gist of what
that would be what the essay topic was about, and it had to do with his 5 causes. His 5 causes for the reasons of God existence.
Oh, okay.
Which is in volume 1 within the first. Section 1 or section 2. That's not going to give you a comprehensive view.
No, but your paper will have taken from all of it, won't it?
Every person who studies logic and philosophy will study Aquinas' causes, and many Christians today, when they debate, they use his causes, and atheists do get stuck with Aquinas' work. So he is a good man, and you should read his books, not what other people say. Go to the actual source.
Oh, which Christian uses his works? William Lane Craig, I'm assuming.
Just forget it.
Oh,
you don't want to read it, don't want to read it. I'll do the good work. I mean,
I want to read your paper.
If you forget about my stupid essay,
I want to read your essay.
His work.
I want to read your essay.
Don't read what other people's wrote. Read it yourself.
No, I want to read your essay about it. Because I think from reading that,
no, we're just different. You like to talk about things you don't read and make excuses. You have your agenda, what you want to do.
I'm asking you to read.
And I'm different with the way I handle knowledge.
I'm asking you to read your essay.
If I want to understand Hinduism, I finished the Bhagavad Gita. If I want to understand Judaism, I took a class at Harvard to study Judaism. If I want to take a class on this, like that's why I read Bukhari myself.
There's my Hinduism. There's my Hinduism.
I don't read what other people say. I do in addition. Right? I do in addition, but I always deal with the first source. Always deal with the first source.
You're still reading what people say?
The first source.
Of what people say?
The person who wrote it. I don't read about what people said about the author. I read what the author wrote, and then I discuss with people about it.
Right. But you've done an essay on it, isn't it?
Yes. And guess who assigned it? A philosophy teacher.
Let me read it.
Don't
I promise you,
it's
just for me to read. I'm no plagiarism. I just want to read it, soak it up, and honestly.
I try to keep my academic life as private as possible. What I put online is what I want you to see. And this is the thing. If you won't even read Aquinas, I need not share works about Aquinas because you won't understand it.
No.
You will not be able to judge my essay if it's good or bad because you're not even familiar with it.
I'm not going to judge nothing. I'm not going to judge anything. I just want to read it. So it's like, I'll give you an example. It's like if I say to my kids, we're going to go to Euro Disney. Yeah, we're going to go to Euro Disney on holiday. And they say, well, what's there? And then I'll tell them, well, they've got this, they got that. We can do this. We'll go there. We'll do that. We'll do this. This will happen and whatever. And then they're all excited. Yeah, let's go. Okay.
At the end of the day,
you're asking me right now. You're asking me right now.
You encourage your students how they should study, how they should act, how they should behave. I will do it my way. So that's where we have to leave it. So let's not talk about Aquinas anymore because I respect that man. I really do. And anyone with 2 brain cells in any university and across this country, across the world, would as well. And only a fool or an arrogant, haughty person would say they have nothing to learn from someone like him. And that is a fact. And I would, you know what? I stand by the man.
Look.
I would fight the same for Bukhari. I would fight the same for Tirmidhi. I would do the same for Islam. But I have humbleness to know.
I'll say it again to you. I'll give you an example.
No, I don't need your example. Just if you don't want to read it, don't want to read it.
I'm giving you one. Right. You see this book?
Really think about how you're telling students to go about knowledge.
Right. You see this book? You see this book?
What about it?
Okay, it's a Qadiani book, Ahmadiyya. Yeah, so it's a Muslim commentary of the Bible. Now, just because an Ahmadiyya wrote it wouldn't mean I wouldn't read it. Yeah, I don't. Just because I'm interested in information, not who's saying it as such. Yeah, and if the information.
If you think there's not valuable information in Aquinas,
this is what I've not ever said. No, this is the problem.
Your behavior shows it, regardless if you say it or not. Your behavior shows it.
It does. Look. If you
how are you going to be an expert on Christianity and not know Aquinas?
Okay, I'll say it again too. You know Aquinas, but you're not an expert on Christianity. So I don't know.
But I don't claim to be an expert on Christianity like you.
Yeah, I don't claim to be an expert on Aquinas.
But Aquinas is part of the Christian canon, hands
nothing
down.
To do with anything. Thomas Aquinas has nothing to do with what I've said today. All that information I've got today, I don't need Thomas Aquinas to know it.
You cannot be an expert in Christianity without knowing him. I don't think
Thomas Aquinas knew that stuff. I think I knew more about Christianity and its flaws than Thomas Aquinas.
You knew one small aspect, but I doubt you could write a book like him.
I truly believe I know more about the flaws of Christianity than Thomas Aquinas.
It's not just about faults.
It is.
It's not just about faults. You always focus on the negative.
Yes, because I'm finding the faults.
Yes, but don't you see? You're always looking for the negative. How you can one up somebody? How you can always
no,
because
I can one up somebody.
And then you lack respect and humility to talk to someone like that.
You can't be an expert on Christianity without Thomas Aquinas. And I'm saying to you, I truly believe more than Thomas Aquinas did on the flaws of Christianity and the text and the higher criticism and the textual criticism, because he wasn't privy.
Because you love criticizing. It's unhealthy as well. To always be criticizing, always be negative, and think you have nothing to learn.
To have my knowledge what I do about Christianity and its flaws. I don't need Thomas Aquinas for that. What do I need Thomas Aquinas for? To teach me what? That the saints, the popes, this, that, what? With regards to Christianity. Did Thomas Aquinas think
I've never seen such type of arrogance. We're going in circles here.
Listen, no disrespect.
No. That's like a Muslim like saying that they don't need the ulama. That's like saying that all these different scholars who study can be dismissed and you can just do whatever you want. And
I do not need Thomas Aquinas. I do not need him. As a Muslim, I do not need Thomas Aquinas. Categorically.
If you want to be a respectable scholar and intellectual, you do.
I'm not a scholar. I'm not a scholar. I don't claim to be. I don't even claim to be intellectual.
Then just forget it then. Just okay, yeah. You don't want to read it? I'll talk about Aquinas with different kind of peoples. You just whatever.
No, like I say, if you said to me, this is what you can learn from Thomas Aquinas.
I don't want to argue about it anymore. I like the man. I'll defend him. He's brilliant, and you've slandered a great man, and I've never heard something so atrocious in my life.
What you've done, I think you've insulted the man, personally. Honestly.
Oh, dear God.
You know what you remind me of? Do you know what you remind me of?
No, just forget it. If you think you know everything, sure, yeah, you're nothing to learn from no one else. You got it.
I don't think I know everything. But I'll tell you what you remind me of.
Sure. You're the perfect Muslim, and no Muslim should study anything else. Just stay in an echo chamber, circle jerk, and just focus on this one thing. Okay, cool. I'm a different type of study person. I'm a different type of person. Different, just completely different, opposite than you, as we've seen.
No, but you've got this kind of
very opposite.
Got this kind of blind belief.
Blind belief, yeah.
Yes.
A blind belief of someone who just studies all the time, yeah.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying to you. That's amazing. That's what I'm finding amazing.
So blind. Yeah.
You learn new things today. You learn new things today you didn't know, and you didn't appreciate learning them.
You had some cool historical facts, but I learned what I learned was about type of.
You didn't acknowledge that.
I'm not going to thank you after everything you say.
No, but I'm trying to learn from you, and you're not telling me. Every time I ask you a question, I'm not telling you. I'm not saying. I'm not going to answer that.
Because
what's the point? Everything I've asked you, you ask me every question.
Some things are self-apparent. Some things are self-apparent.
No, they're not.
If you were truly genuine, you would see it.
They're not self-apparent.
If you were smart as you claim to be, you would know it. And you're playing a little sophistry game.
I don't know how many times I can count that you said you don't want to answer a question.
Or maybe I just overestimated how I thought you were.
Possibly.
Maybe that's what it was. I thought you were more of the nerdy, intellectual, textual analysis guy.
No.
But you have your side, how you want to be how you want to be. I guess the energy at Speaker's Corner is just very different, right? You deal with different kinds of personalities, different skill levels, different agendas.
For a year and a lot of different things. Last couple of weeks. I went to Speaker's Corner on Sunday and 2 weeks ago, and since then I've been there for a year and a half. So I'm not been in Speaker's Corner.
But I'm saying, maybe it's just that culture over there, cultural differences.
What cultural difference?
Cultural differences of how you act towards brilliant minds.
Well, you haven't told me why he's a brilliant mind.
You know what? Just forget it. Anyways, anything else? It's been a long time. It's the longest stream I've ever done. And
long time, flipping it. It's been. It's like
3 hours. Yeah, it's 7 o'clock here. I got things. I got a kid. I got to cook dinner. But
oh, sorry. Shall I let you go then?
Yeah, but it was great conversation. Very nerdy. Yeah. I think a lot of people will nerd out on it. But yeah, I've enjoyed a lot of rabbit holes.
It felt like I've just come on screen to debate a Christian. To be honest with you, that's what it feels like. I don't mind. I mean,
I'm not those Muslims who just self-masturbate to Islam.
But we're not talking about Islam. We're just talking about Christianity, and you're defending Christianity like you're a Christian. It's kind of cool. But no disrespect, you don't have the knowledge to do it.
Yeah, you have all the knowledge.
On this topic, yes.
Yeah, you're the perfect in Christian knowledge.
Not perfect.
I'll just self-flagellate yourself. No one has more knowledge than you.
Never claim perfection.
You know all the knowledge.
Never claim perfection.
And you know,
never claim perfection.
I'm just a different kind of person. I am a Muslim and an intellectual. I don't just talk about Islam all day.
Nothing intellectual about defending Christianity. Nothing. It can't be defended intellectually. It collapses under intellectual scrutiny.
I'm not a person who just focuses on Islam. But hopefully one day I will become an Islamic scholar.
I don't mind that.
But I will also hold degrees in other things as well. Yes, I want to have a nice PhD in theology. I have to study other religions, and I have to, you know, in classrooms, they'll put you to defend Judaism, and a Hindu comes up and you have to debate. You know, like I said, different professors teach you different skills. You don't always argue from your own position. That's not how you gauge and test someone's mind, regardless.
What are you about?
Fine, if you don't understand, it doesn't understand. Well, like I said, different educations, different classrooms, different professors, different styles of learning, different values. Yeah.
I didn't attack Christianity from any position. I attacked it from a lay position. From a normal.
What does that have to do with anything? I don't have to agree with everything you say or never answer back. Just because you're Muslim doesn't mean I have to, like, everything you say is fine and I just have to just, like, never respond.
No, I wish you did the opposite. I wish you answered questions, but you don't.
Some things are self-explanatory.
Well,
and if you were genuine and you said you know what you know the answer. You go find the answer. I've interacted with enough kinds of people to know when you have to stop and just say, just leave it there. Not everything deserves an answer, and some things you have to say, you know what, is this? And if you want to go further, go further. If you don't, you don't. Alhamdulillah, you leave it there.
You're telling me to read 7 volumes of Thomas Aquinas, but not why?
I've said it a bunch of times. It should be apparently clear. You know it's clear.
Just because you know why, don't expect me to have the knowledge.
You know why. I said it very quite clearly.
All right.
I don't know. You don't want to read it, but I'll go hang out with people who do, and I'll hang out with the kind of people who match my personality and who enjoy learning ceaselessly for what we like, and you like what you like. Simple as that.
No, but the point is, I'm trying to learn. I'm asking you a simple question. I am.
You're not. Don't tell me you're trying to learn. Don't
really.
Don't.
So why am I asking you? What will I learn from Thomas Aquinas?
I know this manipulative language here. No, just let it go. I don't know why you won't let it go. Don't frame it like, I'm trying to learn. That's exact. No, don't do that, because you're not. And I've mentioned it. We spent over an hour me defending Aquinas, explaining why he's brilliant.
Nothing. If you just said, don't talk about my hero. That's all you've done. He's my hero. You can't say anything bad about him. I'm not going to tell you why. But don't say
you can frame it like that if you want.
That's all you've done.
Frame it like that. Okay.
But that is what you've done. Okay. That is what you've done.
That's what you think. That's what you think.
To be honest with you, I thought I'd learn about Thomas Aquinas from you, and you're scared to tell me anything. I don't know.
If you want to frame it as scared, go ahead and do that.
Well, I think you think I'm going to attack your positions when you tell me something about him. I don't know. I can only assume why you don't want to tell me.
You don't like. Okay, you have a crusade against Christians. Go handle your crusade.
For example, if I said to use the ponders, tell me about Thomas Aquinas, and say, yeah, he was in this century, did that, he was great, known for this, these are his positions.
Okay, yeah, so somebody can tell you, Wikipedia summarizations are so great. Yeah.
No. But you wrote an essay on it. And I'm willing to read your essay.
And just ask anybody about him and just trust their opinions and, instead of reading yourself, just don't read it yourself and just go ask other people. Don't read it yourself. Ask other people so that you don't have to read it.
No, the problem is, you see, I have to know why I should read it. I'm trying to ask you that. You don't want to answer.
Wait a minute. So when I had to study Islam before taking my Shahada, you say like, that's Shaitan delaying you. So it's like you kind of flip-flop on when you need to study and when you don't.
No, I don't.
I consistently stay towards study something, learn it, and then show respect towards it. Right? You won't see me talk bad about people for no reason or act like I know it all, because I don't know it all, and I'll keep reading until the day I die, and I'll keep learning and being a great librarian and a great scholastic and a great bibliophile, God willing, but I will never stop learning.
Right.
And I will never say I have the answers and I shouldn't read anything.
So why not?
We're on different paths.
No, we're
on different paths. It's as simple as that. You have your crusade, And I have mine, and that's as simple as that. And we're not going to come to terms on that.
You've read 7 volumes of Thomas Aquinas. You've wrote essays on it and papers on it. And I'm asking you a simple question. Why should I read Thomas Aquinas? And you can't even give me a sentence.
I have, and you're ignoring it, and you're refraining it. And
you said it's apparent. You said it's apparent.
If somebody who is an intellectual tells you to read it, that is sufficient enough for you.
No, it's not.
Okay, then that's your problem.
Because you need to tell me why I should read it.
If an ulama tells me go read Bukhari, I say why. He says go read
why?
it.
Why do you need to read Bukhari? Why do you need to read Bukhari?
You're not getting. You're trying to keep going off. Get to the point. The point is that when somebody of wisdom tells you to do something, you don't need to ask a bunch of questions why. You just do it.
I don't.
And then you get thankful and say, "Aha, I see it." You know. More like you said, you're different. You want to know the destination and not have the journey.
No.
I like to be surprised.
If you want to be a hadith scholar, if you want to be a hadith scholar, yeah, go read Bukhari. If you don't want to be a hadith scholar, no need to read Bukhari. If you want to be,
wait a minute, did you just say not to read Bukhari if you're not going to be a hadith scholar?
If you don't want to be a hadith scholar, there's no reason for you to read volumes of Bukhari. No, I don't believe there is.
What? I just say it again. Entirely. How the hell can you be a good Muslim and not read all the volumes of hadith?
Why do you need to read all the volumes of hadith? Why?
You should read all of them, every single one.
Why?
Okay, now I see. Now I see.
Now I see.
Now it's very clear.
What's clear?
That's so freaking clear now.
Why?
Okay, thank you. This is now, and I feel much better. Because if you're telling people you don't need to read all of Bukhari, and then saying you don't need to read Aquinas' volumes,
I'm not
now
telling.
I see it.
No.
Now I see what you. Now I see.
I'm not telling anyone anything. I'm not telling anyone anything. You're telling me.
You're telling me. You don't need to. Why? Oh my.
No, I don't. No, I don't need to read all the volumes of Bukhari. No, I don't. I'm not sure why.
That's where we're gonna differ. We have different views, I guess. Leave it at
that. Because
I tell people to buy it.
If I wanted to be a hadith scholar,
buy it, read it, study every freaking day, never freaking stop. If I wanted to be a
hadith scholar, that's what I would do.
How are you going to know the sunnah? How are you going to know about your own religion to defend it at all with evidence if you don't study it?
There's references to everything you need to know.
Read the original works yourself.
What's so difficult about Islam that you need to read the whole volume of Bukhari?
How are you going to talk about something if you haven't studied it fully?
Do you read Arabic?
I have lessons. I'm learning.
Yeah, because you need to be reading it in its language if you're going to go that deep. The point is...
Hey, but I can start... I'm doing more than you. I'm reading it in English and you're not.
Okay, but why are you reading it?
To become a better Muslim so I can teach people.
Okay.
Teach people about to preserve it. To preserve the factual doctrine.
It depends what you want to be. That's what I said to you. It's about the destination, isn't it?
No,
what do I want to be? What do I want to be?
Every freaking Muslim, the Ummah would be better if every Muslim read Bukhari.
Why?
They would know their own religion. They would know their deen.
They'd get confused.
What?
They'd read hadith and then what does this mean?
Oh my gosh.
They'd get
so the more they study their religion, the stupider they're going to get, the more confused they're going to get, the more they study their own works.
No, if you study...
if you read all Bukhari, you're going to get confused.
Some people, of course. There's some really weird hadith that you're not going to understand.
Then you go ask a scholar.
Yes, I know.
Ask questions.
Yeah, so I personally do not believe as a Muslim you need to read all of Bukhari. I don't think you do.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I'm a hadith lover, so let's just leave it at that. We went into an Aquinas, and then now you're going in on Bukhari and hadith, and now we have to cut it off.
I'm not going in on anything. I'm not attacking anything. I'm saying if your destination is to be a hadith scholar or a scholar per se, yes, then... If
I was the leader of a Muslim country, I would put in the curriculum all the hadiths. I would make everyone learn it.
How could you do that?
Everyone. Well, if I was a dictator or a queen, but I'm not. But I would. That's my goal. I push everyone to study it. Go, 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 go. Why? Because the apostates are using hadiths against Islam. And then you're telling people you might get confused, don't read it.
No. It's very, very simple. When the apostates come with their emotional hadith that they think supports something intellectual, you just go to someone of knowledge.
You haven't read all Bukhari, but then you want to have ways to argue against it. It doesn't make sense.
I don't need to. I go to people of knowledge who can deal with it.
You don't need to read the hadiths, huh?
No. As a picking up a book and reading them. As picking up a book and reading them. Just read them every day.
Anyways, I think that's enough because you've attacked enough. Now it's too much. We had great conversation. It's been very entertaining. You know,
don't worry,
protagonist and antagonist has been very good.
I don't think I'm gonna put. I don't think. Do you want me to put it up or not?
It'd be very great, of course. Why would you not put it up when I dedicated the longest I've ever dedicated anyone's time?
I don't know,
that'd be very disrespectful.
I didn't expect us to fight so much.
But that's good. It's healthy.
All right. So I'll put the whole thing up, yeah? All right.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you don't put it up, that's like you just wasted my time in a way.
I'll put everything up, don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to gain. Either they get mad at me or get mad at you, or they get mad at both of us, or they love both of us.
I think it's definitely going to get mad at both of us.
Yeah, I mean, but it's healthy for the Ummah because it gets us thinking. The worst episodes are the kind where people circle jerk and always agree. Those are not good. You have to have confrontation sometimes.
Oh, I agree. That's my middle name, confrontation.
Yeah, and it's Hamza's den. We got in the den.
We'll let the people decide how. But I wasn't. I brought you on to have a nice chat. I didn't bring you on to fight you.
That's good. You know, and it helps prepare me for when I debate, you know, apostates or just even you're not apostate, but what I mean is that it just, you know, you get used to it, you know.
Yeah, certainly do. Yeah. All right.
All right. Have a good night.
I think you'd be good in the arena, but I'm afraid you might join the Christians.
No.
Why start siding with them? Especially if they mention Thomas Aquinas. Oh,
no.
Honestly,
it would just,
well, actually, he's got a point. You know that because.
No. But no, but it would be diversity is important. Dynamicism is important.
All right. Right. You do fancy the arena then, yeah?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. All right, inshallah. I'll hook one up with you. I'll try and I don't know who to hook it with though. Anyone you don't like?
Or you're I don't have any enemies. Like, I don't know of that.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I've seen some horrible comments though. You know that when I was watching Life with Support. Oh, she's a feminist, this, that. And I was like, please, flipping heck. What's the need?
I'm not a feminist. But like I said, but people have to remember as well, I don't think some people realize that there's Chinese propaganda bot campaigns where people are going around on several YouTube channels and I follow a lot of political channels as well. People saying paid opposition, like people cause infighting on purpose to defame people. So people have to be aware of that. And I don't know how many times I got to tell people I'm not a feminist, but people want to cause trouble. So people have to, and what they, like people, you can't, even if, I don't agree with everything Mufti Menk says, but he's super soft and people get mad at him. Then Hasim Al-Hakim, the Wahhabi scholar, he does videos and he's more orthodox and people get mad at him. There is no middle ground, Everybody gets a turn on the chopping board.
I've realized one thing long ago. You never please people. Never ever please people. And so I don't try to.
They're going to say what they want to say.
I have this motto. Sometimes I might hurt with the truth, but I'll never comfort you with a lie. I'm pretty direct, and obviously, if you believe something and it's dear to you, and then I challenge that particular thing, it's going to cause hurt. Now, whether I do it all softly, cup of tea, slice of cake, and then eventually get to it, or whether I just do it bang off the straight off, it's going to be the same hurt. It's not going to change because someone's got a worldview, they've wrapped themselves around it, and I'm going to wreck it.
The other thing.